GH1 TV, your best experience.
It was a Saturday for we are never
because I have a good timenda, which is not the action. Now, the Chinam talking one side of the day when Timothy Stabia.
I tried to go any different, and you say any hiding.
As the Minister for Youth and Sports, I fully endorse and commend this campaign against the abuse of tramadol. I urge all young people of this country to desist from the use of tramadol.
State of Affairs brought to you by Cowbell Gold and
everywhere you go, MTN.
Go On Energy Drink, no limits.
Good evening. Welcome to another edition of State of Affairs brought to you by Go On Energy Drink, MTN and Cowbell Gold. It's a pleasure to be with you tonight. As you may have heard already, yesterday, GH1 TV, a member of the EIB group, signed a partnership agreement with the National Youth Authority to launch a nationwide campaign to end the abuse of tramadol. Of course, in the last how many weeks you've been seeing and hearing from young people heavily addicted to this drug, and it is causing havoc, raining havoc on several communities and families. So tonight we're talking about that partnership, and the National Youth Authority is actually launching this campaign together with GH1 TV on the 10th of August in Sunyani, the Bunahafo regional capital, and that will see us coming together to fight the abuse head-on together with other agencies in the health sector. Particularly exciting is the decision by the National Youth Authority to spearhead the setting up of a national rehabilitation center before the end of the year. Joining us tonight to discuss that agreement and exactly what we will be doing together, the NYA's expectations, and also what the FDA has been doing, because they've also been working really hard, assiduously, to clamp down on the abuse of tramadol. So my guests tonight are the CEO of the National Youth Authority, Emmanuel Asegui. It's good to have you in the studio. We haven't seen him in the studio since 2016, before 2016, when he was in opposition. Remember, he used to come here and haggle it out with the others. But tonight he's here, big man. And also joining us tonight is Sebastian Mauli Hotor. He's the Principal Regulatory Officer responsible for Tobacco and Substance Abuse Department of the FDA. You're both welcome. Okay, I want to start with you first for the FDA. I mean, you have been doing a lot of work as well.
Sure.
Low-key, doing all of these surveillance and others. Yeah. How far have you gone? Have you made any progress?
Thank you very much, Nanaba, and good evening to your viewers. Like you said, low-key because it's our mandate, it's our job. So we do routine swoops, we do a lot of public education, but now we've intensified it. So now it's more targeted, it's more comprehensive, and it's intensive. And then we've now made our presence really felt at the unauthorized ports of entry, because the authorized ports of entry, we're already there, very, very present there. And so, and even at the border towns, where we are not able to be there directly, we have a collaboration, the immigration, the customs, the police force, and so on. So you realize that for now, there's a bit of an undertoning of the tramadol issue now. And a lot more people, by courtesy of the campaign you keep doing over and over again, a lot of people are now aware about the harmful effects and therefore are trying to stay away from it. So I would say that we have made strides, and we are not relenting on our oars until we have it all nipped in the bud. And until then, we would want everybody to be on board. That's why we are happy to have this opportunity again to reach out to the public.
Okay. Now, I still want to stay with you. You talk about the borders and how present you are. I mean, is it difficult for those you work with to understand the severity of the problem? Do they know the severity of the problem? Because you speak to a lot of these young boys who abuse the drug, and they tell you that they get the drugs from peddlers. You engage the peddlers and they tell you that they are able to bring it in because of the borders. The borders are very poor. So what kind of work do these allies of yours do at the border? Do they understand the problem?
Yes, a very good question, Anaba. Because we wanted to actually let them appreciate the gravity of the issue, we have organized lots and lots of training programs with all the relevant stakeholders, including community opinion leaders and all of them, so that they would appreciate the gravity of it. So now they do. And therefore, they are more proactive in trying to address the issue, because they realize that it could be their son or their niece or their nephew one of these days being a victim of the abuse problem we are facing now.
Okay. All right. And Emmanuel, you've engaged the FDA. Have you been satisfied with the responses they've been giving you so far?
Yes, I must indicate that. Well, let me say good evening to your viewers and your good self. Having indicated that I haven't been here for some time now,
Yes.
I want to say to you that you see me coming in more often.
Very often.
Yeah.
Wonderful news.
Yeah. To the question, I think that I have been impressed with the response I have had from the FDA, especially with my interactions with the CEO, Mrs. Daku. I must say that she's been very proactive, you know, with her dealings with me, and how she's even introduced me to some other collaborators, and we're looking at how we're going to move this whole campaign to a different level. And that is what informed, as part of what we're looking at, you know, played a role in we coming up into looking forward into establishing the rehab center for these tramadol victims. So I think that so far FDA has played a very useful role in this exercise. And I'm not surprised that they made available Mr. Heto, who is here with us. And I know that they will do more, because as I speak, an officer has been dedicated to work with us. And I must indicate that the number of times she calls me to even see how far we are going about things. In due course, we will get to meet all of them, because we are in this course together now. And I say so with regards to your good self, who has been the champion in this tramadol business and the abuse of tramadol business. And I think that with the responses we are getting beyond even FDA, Pharmaceutical Council, I was on phone, I think about 3 times today with the CEO. Is his title CEO? Pharmaceutical Council. My own brother, Doc. Dr. Raouf will probably be watching me and wondering why I'm mixing things up here. But the head of the Pharmaceutical Council, and I think that all of them are quite, encouraged that government is taking this up through the National Youth Authority. And we are very much interested in what is going on because of who are the victims in this regard.
Have you been surprised at the number of young people hooked onto this drug?
Do I have to say surprised? I have been shocked at the number of young people who have fallen victim to this. I want to choose my words carefully. Who have fallen victim to this drug, which has its good uses, and people discovering that they could abuse it, and it is now taking a wider dimension beyond what some of us were envisaging. After I made a discovery per your program, And then we had our first interaction, and then I started attending, programs organized by ourselves and other, agencies. I have taken the pain to go around the country as part of my going around.
Right.
I mean, to check on what is going on. And I must say here on this platform that it is not an issue to do with probably Greater Accra or Ashanti Region, because I've seen when you did the other one in Kumasi, and it even went beyond the tramadol abuse, and we had issues to do with cocaine and substance abuse. I think that the tramadol thing, I'm not an expert, but this one probably the experts will say leave it to us to determine. From what I have seen, from the hindsight, I think that I can dare say that it's a crisis, because it has not spared any part of this country of ours. Every region is affected by this tramadol abuse. And if you have a situation where...
And it's affecting the rich and the poor.
Absolutely.
As well.
I was just going to go there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we are unable to go into the rich homes, but I've had so many calls from parents in cantonments, Laboni, rich people, and they're telling me that their children are hooked. They don't know what to do.
And about the other shocking part is even our tertiary institutions, our universities.
Yeah.
Our universities. Our universities, and this...
They pop it like TikTok.
Yeah, this...
it's in their pockets. It's in their pockets. It's like, toffee.
And you see, the sad thing is because you are not able to tell, unlike alcohol, when you probably are alcoholic and...
Yes, you can smell it.
Smell it, and you can tell that the person is probably on alcohol, or probably on other substances where certain things can give leads that this person is on. Tramadol, until it takes a toll on the person, you can't get to know that the person is abusing it, And that is the most dangerous part of the whole thing.
Yeah. It's interesting you talk about a crisis and how a lot of people are hooked onto it, because not long ago, we went to a lorry terminal here in Accra to speak to drivers. And the drivers are no longer taking alcohol. They're taking tramadol.
Yeah, exactly.
And you cannot detect that with a breathalyzer.
No, at all.
So they are taking it and they are driving around several hours thinking that they are not tired. And so they can go on for hours under the influence of tramadol. And they're carrying passengers, human lives.
So you see the craziness we are experiencing on roads, then you should know that it cannot be a normal thing. Because sometimes you ask yourself, doesn't the person value his life? It is because something is pushing him to do the kind of things they do. That is why we are faced with this crisis. So I think that for us, we have nothing to complain or talk about but to put ourselves in this, because what we are supposed to be doing as an agency, the constituency where we are supposed to be dealing with are the majority in terms of the numbers we are seeing who have been affected with regards to this abuse of tramadol. And so, like you indicated, I was getting to that point. It is not something that anyone should sit somewhere in the comfort of his home and think that it is an issue to do with the ghettos. The wealthy homes, the plush places where we think that we find ourselves, we live in our big mansions and all that, we should be finding out what our children are involved in. The kids are doing a lot of crazy stuff these days. And parents as we are, because we are all caught up with work activities and all that, you don't even have the opportunity to study your son, your daughter, and see what is happening. And again, this is not something that is meant for just one sex of the the population. It is cutting across. It is, I mean, the areas where I've seen your clips, it becomes like a challenge. When we had this program at Nima, the victims in it were telling us about how some ladies at Labadi went into a challenge, and out of that, as a result of that, three of them
died. Two actually.
So this issue which we are bringing out, we think that we want to urge everyone to get on board so that we see what we can do to, at least, if we can't wipe it, mitigate the abuse. Because again, beyond looking at where it's affected, I had an opportunity to get people in the health sector. A medical doctor walked to me and then told me that a colleague of ours is abusing tramadol. And I'm like, what do you mean by a colleague of yours? Someone in the health sector. I said, no, a doctor colleague of ours. She went on and said, doctor colleague of ours is abusing tramadol. I was like, are you serious? And she was, telling me of the circumstances that led into it. And this is someone who is in the field and knows the dangers in doing that. But here we are, caught up with that kind of a situation. And you can imagine such a doctor sitting and then, administering some consultation, on patients,
Yeah.
So it is a worrying trend. It is a worrying trend. And the little I have seen, in some areas, I have seen it getting close to me. And that is what is even making me panic the more. So as we sit here and then we talk about it, let no one think that, it's one of those usual things. Because I'm saying this from the backdrop of hearing people make comments like, you guys are making this tramadol a big issue too much, and it is now drawing people's attention into getting into it. If people get to know the numbers that are hooked onto tramadol, abusing it, they'll get to realize that we have even waited too long in coming out now to want to make it aware, create the awareness amongst the Ghanaian public.
Yeah. All right. Let me come to you now, Sebastian. Really, we didn't just wake up one day to notice that people were abusing tramadol. Is this something that had been known to the FDA for a while?
There were snippets, okay, and we had them under control, and so until 2016, when we realized that it was just getting on the ascendancy, and then we actually went on the ground, organized a lot of swoops with the police, and they gathered a lot of intelligence. We went on the ground, and the numbers, the quantities we got were alarming. That was when we realized that we needed to actually, be on our feet and do something about it, So there were snippets, like I'm saying before, 2013, 2014, there were containers we nabbed at the ports and so on. There were a few that were put in consignments of charcoal that we came across. There were those that were being hidden in consignments of tomatoes and so on and so forth. All those ones were
Where were they coming from?
Usually they come from up north, through the Burkina border and so on and so forth. So those were the ones. Even now that a lot of people are hiding, because of the noise we are creating, we are even hearing that the beggars by the roadside, they are also agents now.
A friend of mine, well, he's not a friend. I attended a birthday party in East Legon, and a gentleman walked up to me, and he had been following our campaign on tramadol.
Okay.
So he said he had a terrible experience. He was coming from home. He decided to buy a toffee.
Okay.
He bought 3 CDs, and then he ate 2 and left the last one that he would take it later. An hour into his journey, he went blank and drove himself into a ditch. They took him to the hospital, and the first thing the doctors asked him, did you eat Igbe toffee? He said yes. He said, what you ate contained tramadol. That is what they're doing now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It used to be marijuana they were putting into the Igbe toffee. So I didn't even realize they had started putting tramadol into it as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he almost died. That is how bad the situation is. I think about it and I go crazy.
So you're not even sure when you buy something from the market, you're not sure whether it's even, in the best of a situation for you to take it.
Yeah.
And you see, with my dealings with FDA, the other thing that came up, that came out as a revelation was when the CEO was telling me of what has become a bigger challenge for them. They are regulating, even pharmaceutical companies that are dealing in tramadol in this country. And it is not all pharmaceutical companies that have been given the right or license to operate or deal with tramadol. And the other part is that when you see what is sold outside, the regulated one is of a lower
50
dose.
and 100.
Yes, 50 and 100. And the ones the young folks are getting is
225. 225 and above.
Yes. 250.
Yeah, there's 225.
Or 225.
And then there's 250.
And there's 200 as well.
There's 200 as well.
And she went on to indicate that what is quite worrying is that tramadol is an expensive drug. And that when they see how much these people are getting it for,
1 CD.
It's an indication that the composition, the efficacy of what they're even getting might not be the true tramadol, but something that represents tramadol. because it's an expensive drug and nobody would get it and sell it out for 1 cedi.
Yeah.
So if you see what the peddlers are using, so it means that all these things have things that they've induced into it to make it more deadly.
Yeah.
And that's how come you find the young people who get through to it in the overdose stage, you know, foaming, and then the next thing is that, you know, they're dead.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it's a sad. It's a sad.
For me, I want to commend, you know, GH1, especially you who have been the #1 crusader on this whole agenda, and then indicate that beyond National Youth Authority, I have seen even some other assemblies that have taken this up. In the last week, or was it last weekend, the Equiapim South District Assembly, you know, came out and then launched a campaign against tramadol abuse, and they have seen that having an impact, a negative impact on the youth in the area. And then the chief executive officer, you know, my brother Dennis, you know, led a team. He also partnered some other media houses, and then they did a launch of this whole activity. And it is sending the signal that everyone is rising up to this whole thing. It is unlike, even though we cannot indicate that drug abuse has lesser ones or lesser effects, they all have the, distraction it brings to young people. But if you look at the level at which this one is taken, you know, where access to it...
Because it's cheaper. Because I've asked some people who are addicted, who were abusing or smoking weed and, you know, using cocaine, why they have switched to tramadol now. And they say it is cheaper. It is cheaper, and it does the same thing. So instead of looking for 10 cedis or 20 cedis to get cocaine, you can just get 1 cedi, and tramadol is available.
Absolutely. And the dose you're getting would satisfy what it is that you're looking for.
Sadly so.
You know.
All right. So the NYA, well, but congratulations to you as well. I think that you are also very proactive. You heard about it and immediately you jumped onto it. And here we are with this partnership. And it's not just tramadol. There is cocaine and the other substances as well. And I had the shock of my life when I went to Alaba in Kumasi. I have never seen anything like that in my life before. And fortunately, we didn't record the show within the community where they really are, where they sleep, where they eat. It is an eyesore. I haven't seen anything like that before. And we couldn't dare take a camera there because I couldn't guarantee that I'll still be alive. You know, so we had to do the recording outside their base. But what I saw in there, I haven't seen anything like that before in my life. And you have mothers with kids as young as 1, 2, living in there. And I met a woman who's 1 year old will not take breast milk until she's taken in cocaine. You're surprised. Yeah.
I watched that clip.
You watched that clip?
Yeah, I mean, I watched that clip and I was telling you about the revelation, just like you went in and saw things firsthand. I mean, what you were charitable to make us watch, you know, was quite revealing. Yeah. And I remember she telling you that he has techie, you know, and you watch it and it sounds like it's funny, but it is not.
It's serious.
It's a serious situation. You know?
And that is why I am particularly excited and eternally grateful to the NYA and its CEO that you decided to set up a rehab center, because these people came out in their numbers. They were not forced. They came out the moment they heard we were coming to talk about drugs. They came out in their numbers. And the first question they asked, what can you do for us? We want to go to rehab. We need help, but we have nowhere to go to. You know, and I was disappointed that as a country, we could let people like that down. So I'm happy that, I have to say that he's a listening CEO. Maybe a reflection that maybe I should go extra and say that the government is a listening government, that they listened and they're coming up with this. Let's listen to some excerpts of that from Kumasi. So this is actually what happened yesterday, Mr. Hoto. You missed this one. This was a signing ceremony. We should have invited you.
Yeah, you should have.
Yeah, and that's Emmanuel there, and our CEO, Bulare.
Sure.
Yeah. Yes. So that was the agreement we signed yesterday, and the launch is happening in Sunyai. So the people of the Bonahafu region come to Sunyai on the 10th of August. It's going to be
the Husbeth Hotel.
Husbeth Hotel.
Yeah, the conference.
Okay. Finally, I get to visit that hotel. I've heard a lot about it.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. When I was young, Miss Ghana time.
Okay.
Yeah, they did. Anyway, so this happened yesterday. Bolare, CEO, and Emmanuel Asigri. Emmanuel, do you have a Nicky? You have a nickname? Your deputy does. I'm not going to mention it here.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
but his nickname has overshadowed his name. And those who know him, they know him by his nickname.
His nickname? Yeah. I was scandalized when I heard it. Anyway, let's go to Kumasi now. Mr. Hoto, unfortunately, hasn't seen that video, but let's give him a shock.
I said, drug addict. I did a train. What in my mammy out on.
Okay, then.
And mammy said I never been fat to an
then drug and I will use it.
But on me, so injection.
Now we use to start tramadol.
But you're the Benedict minimum.
It's Winyanka addiction. Ya wow, I'm away free.
Nasame. Yes, I'm president. Mr. T. and me, if I so be a mini free soon, minima be a cinema be quite numb. Minimum one is army. I
don't want to meet Jai.
Miakas and Seria is Bitiano. Mina just a minabua for us. The Miakas a meeting, Miss any easy, sir. It's a minabua for us.
Parana was a young boy, my year two take. They say, I want you near one.
Oh, turkey.
My middle
turkey.
Cocaine, I'm a chin, and a bonfire saying, I'm Belmaja. Is a being young, we are say, meet my jack cookie. Madam in Pavy, we are say, meet my jack cookie, and I meet my bomb bra. Okay, it's my jack cookie, Naku be I don't me jack cookie.
Why addicted so much to say, want to mean Jai?
My young woman would I mean to mean Jai.
You don't compress me, Jai. Run on me, woman, man.
Patch them, brassa.
Situation there one smoking, and you're there, boy.
Now we smoky be.
The patron.
Yeah, here now we smoky.
Smoke ganja.
We smoky ganja.
Yeah.
Into Winyanka Wajai.
Winyanka Maja.
Okay.
You have a woman saying, okay, I commit me, Jai, me, ma'am, there was all on Papa, on Finigan.
Into Wajai, Minya, the one I had an Unjai.
Now, we are becoming one, meet my day. Meet me, then to me, some will say, I met my day. Meet my daddy, me,
and cocaine. What do you think?
20 years.
What did 20 years? Who started on cocaine?
7 years.
7 years. I didn't want to mean Jai.
Someone should be the way I'm when I'm by me. I said, I feel it. This is me, the chance, and I'm okay.
Now, I was so cocaine even away.
The patron.
We are in PSA.
The patron, my fan is about 15 years.
15 years. What do you say?
The patron, more 30 years.
What 30 years? It's Winyanka Wajai. Then I won't free Chrome has said.
Say, I had my bushing for you never be a cock, but Yamabuani and Yamoadia, because the way you be a no man. A bit more a week, Untimania, she would be was said in where I but when you have been no more, I won't so higher than I would think. And Tiansan and Moaba Banadia, G and your medication side, a camel. Never near my drone at the idea, and the bit me a boamia to Nya's idea, and yet is a cry. Korea no piano on your own jai.
But I'm a tie.
Tie, then a tie.
For that one, and a friend tie. Yeah, the fry we. Yeah,
the fry we.
Cocktail, I can.
Okay, and I mean who's our basso. Into no banana. Now some will expose Obano to danger. Anna.
Almost maybe. Almost, I know I'm on it, but Omuned won't be coffee.
Mudium Beconada, as I say, I want to make coffee.
In Sembri, because I dear way no. So when Jay feel crown to me at the end now. Because whom I made there, I bear what you saw before. Over Cotton, and went to most Nayan coffee. Because who hears the Canada better. Yabe who be an over who be ever fat. Oh, mamma, to my woman made the body, who we are better.
Passion, what is saying?
About 28 years.
28 years, and what status I want a yadia, who can also find a time. Best saying.
and they meet me.
Okay, age I will start here.
Me no me akwana me nyan wo ba. We say about 5.
Pachana who started say we are there how many years in?
We 54 years, my no 30 years. Me no me na more 24 years.
Ntika wunya nka wejai. Wunya rehabilitation ni bia center ni bia nka wo beko.
Nka meko, na nka metima de ejai. Me se me jai a na ya de bia de abo me. Na ma sa akwa na ya de ko na de ba no so no. Se wo ya de kwa na unum bia. Ya de ni timi ko she ba bi ti say de ko no. De mo na start say u take no. Na ya de no so ayi no.
Okay.
So we dey drug no a dey tuni dey. Obi akasa chen ba we ko ade ba wi as na ehu. Ete me amitiwe me ma twe ama me ma me ya ma kyerɛ ma na akoma ya le ama na wu. Etimi so ma twe me abu me amani asɛm me hunya de kura me teki a wo yɛ wa me ade bia me wi a esi a me gyina kura me no mu ka kyerɛ ma ya ma dwe sɛ ma wu. Ada sɛ aka bisa ne wu. Me hu obi a wo wi asɛm nam no because ma hwɛ me ma me ahwɛ me papa o drug nim. Ama me so bani asɛ wo drug nim. Ama me sinyina tutu. Etimi ayɛ sɛ tiger me nua de ho kuma sɛ obi o sika sɛ obi aso me kura me hu no. Me nam no ma twira kura me na timi sɛ menya bi twa a betime twa ni fati kura sɛ menya bi atwe because they say am twa am na sɛ me awie
inti but wo be pese wo be jai
but me jai just idea akoma de me kono de me ko fa.
Okay, so Mr. Hoto, you're shocked.
Highly.
It's a big problem.
Wow.
Yeah.
I see.
We'll be back with the rest of State of Affairs brought to you by MTN, Cowbell Gold, and Go On Energy Drink. Stay with us.
More and more people are using MTN mobile money in their everyday life. Just paying the kids' school fees.
Welcome back to State of Affairs, brought to you by MTN. Everywhere you go, go on energy drink from Twelum Industrial Company Limited and Cowbell Gold. And tonight we are talking about the partnership between GH1 TV and the National Youth Authority to launch a nationwide campaign to end the abuse of tramadol. Now, Mr. Hoto from the FDA. I mean, there are some, when you speak to these young people who are addicted and you ask them, can you stop taking tramadol? Some of them started not long ago, so they're able to quit. Okay. There are some who are heavily addicted. It will take a lot more to get them off. And then you ask them, what can we do? And immediately they say that, can you stop this drug from coming to the country? I know, of course, banning tramadol is not on the cards as yet. But at the FDA, when you go into your meetings, not to reveal what you discuss at the meetings, it's okay if you do, but not to reveal those. Do you get any pressure from people to take a drastic decision on this issue?
Well, on the ground, when we do our public education and post-market surveillance activities, we go to the marketplaces, the public places, and so on, and then educate people. And then whilst we are conducting our activities, swoops and so on, the public usually mention it. They wish that they especially the market women, they are like, if this drug is that dangerous, it can cause all these things we are talking about, then why do we still have it in the country? But that is a lot more. If we want to talk about it, we'll have to look at it from a scientific point of view, because especially because we are a scientific organization as well. And looking at it from that point, you know very well that the safety profile for tramadol compared to the other opiates, it's it's about like 10 times better than that of morphine and the others. So once it's used properly under medical care, you are fine, you are good to go. But the moment you abuse it, then that is where the problem starts coming. And moreover, we've realized that the ones that are even being abused are not the registered ones, because the registered ones are controlled. And therefore, we make sure that it doesn't get into the wrong hands. It's not sold in pharmaceutical shops below a pharmacy. That is, so you won't find it in a chemical shop or normal herbal shops and so on and so forth. So you have a pharmacist at a pharmacy who actually would educate you on its use, and then take records of the quantity he's giving to you. He would even go a step further to verify the authenticity of your prescription that you brought. If he's not too sure about the dosage, he would even call the doctor and talk with the doctor before releasing the drug to you. So even when you keep coming too often with a valid prescription, he could be suspicious, and he would do underground checks before he continues to give it to you. So you realize that it is the illicit ones, the ones that are being diverted into illicit use and abuse. Those are the ones that people are abusing, and those are the ones that are actually causing the problems, because they come in very high dosages, which a normal psychiatrist will not prescribe tramadol beyond 100 milligrams for you at a dose. You're getting it. So it's the wrong ones, the ones that we can't even guarantee its safety and efficacy. Those are the ones that are being abused.
Okay. And do you know who is producing these drugs? Would the FDA know?
Our investigations, our observations have shown that they come from Nigeria, they come from China, they come from India. And then those are the major consignments that we get, because when we get them, the information on the labels and so on. But in the pharmaceutical world, we have people who produce the fake falsified drugs, which are produced at clandestine laboratories and so on, under very unhygienic conditions. And then those ones, they don't use the right quantities of active pharmaceutical ingredients and so on. Right. So you don't get the drug being able to even do what you are expecting it to do. Sometimes they don't even, I mean, there's been a time, I remember when I was a kid, it was mentioned that, was it paracetamol or something? It was, when they went to check it, was kokonte powder, right? That was, right. That was the constituent, totally. You know, so people take it and it doesn't even work for them, and they'll be wondering, how could I be taking the drug, and so on and so forth. So they come from unregistered and unlicensed manufacturers and so on. So that's how come we find them on the market.
Okay. Now, Emmanuel, yes, to the rehab center, what's the plan?
Yes, like I did indicate, we have this facility which we have not put to full use in the Western region. And for some time now, myself and my team, we've been thinking of what to do with the place. And some ideas kept on coming up. Unfortunately, when we had this come up as a challenge, quickly I indicated to my team that we needed to divert the place and then fix it quickly and turn it into a national rehab center for at least to start with tramadol abuse. So we look at an expansion into some of the areas where we still have the youth fallen victim to in terms of so you indicated that we are going to Sunyani for the lunch. It is going to be part of the International Youth Day, which we, I mean, it's a major activity on our calendar. And it falls on the 12th of August. But being a Sunday, we can't, have the event on that day. So we are pulling it forward to rather have it take place on the 10th, which is a Friday. Immediately we come back, we've already done our program, and immediately we get back to Accra. We're driving straight. We are leaving here on a Wednesday, driving straight. The Wednesday preceding, after that Friday, we're driving straight to Wasa, where we have the facility, and we're going with experts. We're going with the people in the mental health industry. There's a doctor who we've already gotten on board, and all this was worked through FDA. And we want to take him there with a team of engineers and architects so that we go and look at it. Like I said, we already have existing structures there, but we have it's a huge place where we will look at adding into what we have. So we get there, and then they would then tell the architects what it is they're looking at. And these architects have already indicated to them that we're trying to get a rehab center. Fortunately, we don't have any in this country to probably say we are replicating. So they are also doing their research to see what it is that we have from other countries that we can put in to suit our conditions. Because it must really serve as a true rehab center. We shouldn't go and put people's children in a place that would worsen their plight. The facilities that needs to be put in there, I'm using this medium to assure the people of this country that if I'm saying that we're getting a national rehabilitation center for tramadol and substance abuse, we mean what we were talking about. We will finish this and then really make it stand out as a state-of-the-art facility where beyond even this country, we can even get people coming in. If we had an illustrious personality like Dr. Frimpong Bating, single-handedly setting up the cardio center. That is the kind of thing we want to do, myself and my team. We have vowed that we want to do to serve the people of this country, especially the young people of this country. Because if we are the youth development agency, and I keep telling the Ghanaian public that the youth constitute a third of the population, per what we are faced with in terms of this census numbers, we cannot go in and do anything to represent anything. Our focus is for youth. And we won't deny somebody like the 54-year-old man who said he has been on this thing since in the last 30 years or so. Yes, we won't deny such people the opportunity, but our first point of approach would be to get the young people in there and then put their lives back and make them better citizens of this country. So we are taking this up head on. And like I made the pronouncement yesterday, we want to get this done before 31st December 2018.
Will be counting down?
Yes.
Okay. Let me quickly take some messages on social media, Twitter. Of course, you know I'm a Twitter buff. Okay. Inshira Nyama says that kudos to the National Youth Authority for deciding to set up this rehabilitation center. Nanaba, I hope that when it is ready, it will not be for only card-bearing members of the NPP. How can you even say that? That's shocking. I didn't see the last part of your message. I wouldn't have read it. Anyway, let's go on to Kobe. Kobe J says that it's taken so long. Finally, it is here, and I'm excited that the NYA is leading it. What better institution to lead this campaign? I'm proud of the NYA and its CEO. All right. Kweku Esiama says that Ananaba, the FDA is not getting as much applause as they should be getting. They're doing a lot of work in the communities. I have actually witnessed one of their jobs in Kumasi, and I think that the media should be applauding them. You see, the FDA, if they invite us, if they tell us what they're doing, we will applaud them. But if we don't know, how can we applaud them? You can't applaud something you don't know.
That's why we are dealing with you.
Yes. So, yes, we are applauding FDA now. All right. Kunta says, end tramadol abuse. This is serious. And Kunta has this video that has been going around. The guy eating is a banku or kenke.
And water.
And water. Unbelievable. All right. Sapelele says that Nanaba, the National Youth Authority, is finally working. This is the kind of leadership we expect people to be leading in their organizations. Kudos to Emmanuel and his team at the NYA, and we hope that this center will be ready before the end of the year. Governor says, Nanaba, I should be the first person you sign up for the rehab center. You promised me in Labadi. Okay, Governor. Akwesi Nyama says that, Nanaba, please check your DM. I've been sending you a message. Oh, Akwesi. Okay. The very last one here, then I can take a break. Captain MJ says that, can you ask Mr. Asigri if this rehab center will also deal with cocaine and weed? I have been addicted to cocaine for so long. I've tried to go off cocaine. I've run out of money. I can no longer afford the private rehabs. Well, Captain, yes.
Like I said, we want to start and then make this very effective. So we want to start with tramadol. And we won't take much time in getting other, victims who are on other drug abuses get on board and then see what we can do. And as I speak, the kind of consultations I'm already doing, I mean, I can't sit here and then put it out.
Absolutely.
I'm doing it because, well, you have dealt with me and you've seen how passionate I've been about it. Because, like I said, these things, let's not look at it as being far away. It's so close.
Home.
Yeah, it's so close that if you think that, well, this has nothing to do with me, one day when you wake up and you see that it is within you, you will then put your hands on your head and it will be too late.
Yeah, I like that. All right, let's take our very final break. We'll come back to wrap up shortly. Me pesa mo sesa. Me pesa je sister ife na na adwa. E we de na na ma. Ernestine one kasa na me hu say wo breastfeed wo ba no wo nya worry say wo ye sa drugs we nyina e kwa mu na wo ma akra ne no fo
na na ma sisi a ono kra o take how because no for no say do na metu nto say man twi bi sisi a ono ma ne no kra onu because nana ya serious koko ye mu ha mensa mabedi e wo kokem tie
na ye unsa
me body papa na ka me
o cow no way
me hu.
They were fighting over cocaine. Yeah. They were fighting over cocaine and then the man bit her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nana, have you realized something? All these people, I mean, except for the 54-year-old man, are all young people.
And
there's only one who said she was 30.
Yeah.
The remaining are under 30.
Yeah.
But look at how old they look.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just look at how old they look.
Yeah.
Wasted life.
Yeah. Sad. Really sad. Anyway, the show was brought to you by Cowbell Gold Energy for Winners. And it is fortified choco milk drink made from the finest cocoa from Ghana, rich malt and the perfect amount of milk and sugar, full of proteins and vitamins. Definitely energy for winners. Go On Energy Drink, another proudly made in Ghana, product by Twillium Industrial Company Limited. And it's the drink for all. This is because it contains key ingredients such as inositol, which helps in improving blood circulation and improves weight loss, ginseng, vitamin B6 and 12, and sodium, which are all good for the body. It is not recommended for children, that's persons below 18, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine. For bulk purchase, call 0249 717777. Go On Energy Drink, no limit. The show is also brought to you by MTN everywhere you go. Tonight, I was joined in the studio by Sebastian Mauli Huto. He's the Principal Regulatory Officer, Tobacco and Substance Abuse Department of the Food and Drugs Authority. Thank you so much for coming. And also, Emmanuel Asigri, the CEO of the National Youth Authority. I just got a message from my colleague, Alice Aite, who said that for that rehab center, Horror, and he calls himself Horror, should be the first person to be signed up. There's a guy at Old Fadama, and he needs rehab more than anybody. So yes, I think he'll be the first person to be checked in.
The other friend is saying he wants to be the first.
Governor. I have too many of them. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for passing through the show. Thank you for watching the show. Help us end.